So Stats Canada published the job numbers for the month of December, and you will be shocked to know the number, right? So the expectation was 15,000 new jobs to be posted in the month of December across the country. And Stats Canada, posted only 100 new jobs in the month across the country. This is so embarrassing that I cannot seriously deliver this message. So against the expected volume of 15,000, we published 100 new jobs in the busiest time of the year, December, when the trade volume is supposed to be the highest, because the consumers spend money, it's season, there's a lot of seasonal jobs being created, but the reality is very different. And the reason is the economy is not in good shape. The consumers are not spending money. That is the reality. When the consumers put brakes on spending, you don't see the trade volume, you don't see the retail volumes, and you don't see the seasonal jobs being created. And in fact, if you look into the job report, out of those 100 new jobs, majority of them, we have seen the growth in the professional services, scientific related jobs, the professional jobs, and we saw the decline in wholesale and retail type of jobs. So that tells you that economy is really struggling when it comes to spending power for the consumers, right? So I was also watching the report from Oxford Economist, and they also revised their economic projections for Canada. Initially thought that the economy is going to grow in the later part of this 2024 by 0.9% on annualized basis, but now they're revising their forecast and they're predicting contraction, 0.6% contraction year over year in 2024, which is kind of telling you that the economy is really not working well, and all of these numbers are pointing towards recession. So when we look at the 100 new jobs being posted against the estimation of 15,000, there are two possibilities, right? Number one, we are really in a tight recession right now, which is why the consumers aren't spending. There is no retail volume, which is why we are not posting a lot of seasonal jobs. If that's the possibility, then we are literally in recession. Okay. If that's not the case, the other possibility is the Stats Canada people are literally, they don't know what they're doing. So they're forecasting 15,000, but they're only posting 100 jobs. I don't know what those PhDs are doing, to be honest. So either that is true or we are in recession. I'll let you be the judge. But if you are looking into your own financing, your own purchasing power, you know how much you're earning versus how much you're spending money in terms of your expenses, like your housing, your gas expenses, your car expenses, your kids expenses, you would know how difficult it is right now to manage your expenses, because everything is so expensive right now. And with this all government policies like carbon tax, which is going to be effective in April, that is going to put a lot of pressure on our own pocket, because the government is taking more money out of our pocket in the name of carbon tax. I don't know how this is going to reduce the pollution going forward. Anyway, put your comments down below. Let me know what you think about that. So in terms of the job reports, further we go into that, we realize that out of those new jobs created, 49% of them are actually gig workers. So those are the people who are driving Uber and Uber Eats to somehow earn extra money. And 57% of those people are literally new immigrants. So we are importing highly educated, highly skilled professionals, and they ended up driving Uber and Uber Eats to survive in Canada. This is a reality, guys. So the living cost is so high, and even though you have jobs, that job is not earning you enough money to meet up your living expenses in Canada, especially if you're living in Toronto GTA or in Vancouver area. These are the most expensive cities to live in, and you cannot live on your single salary. Okay, you either do 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, while you're also getting your partner to work as well, like your wife. Then you can maybe survive and have enough spending power to live off your life. But if you are a sole earner for your family, then on a single salary, it is practically becoming impossible to survive and meet up your expenses. When you pay rent, you pay gas, you pay for food and for kids and all that stuff. Any activities and social activities that you're going to do after that, you ended up having nothing left, to be honest. So and as I mentioned, the carbon tax is now being added again in April 2024, which is going to make our gas, our heating bills more expensive than it is right now. So that's the situation we are in Canada, and they also predicted that the recession is going to hit Canadians much harder than Americans. And the reason is, if you look at this chart, you'll realize that since global financial crisis, the Americans learned the hard way. They knew that leveraging too much is not good, especially on the housing side, right? So they deleveraged themselves since GFC, and that's how they are right now, not really indebted compared to Canadians. Versus Canadians, they went the other way. They actually levered themselves to the neck right now, and they are one of the highly indebted households in the world, which is why we are struggling, because every single rate hike is going to hurt the highly indebted Canadians much harder, right? Especially if you have too many liabilities, right? And those liabilities are not earning a lot of cash, right, in terms of cash flow. If you have a rental property which is earning negative cash flow, and every single rate hike is going to hurt your cash position. So this is going to be a disaster for you to manage your rental properties and other assets. So this is one of the main reasons why the Canadians is going to struggle going forward, because they are too levered right now. They are highly indebted, and this is the time that you should be able to deleverage yourself. Like, if you want to survive long term, this cycle is going to be very tough from a rate sensitive assets perspective. So if you are levered right now, you are Canadian, consider deleveraging yourself at some point or right now, because the rates are not going to be zero bound anytime soon. Even if it happens, it's going to be from the position of weakness versus position of strength, which means it will be a severe recession that will force Bank of Canada to drop the rates to the floor. Right now, we are not seeing that. Maybe it happens, maybe it not. Nobody can predict future. Everybody can share their thoughts and make their opinions, but at the end of the day, this is all hypothetical scenarios that we are talking about. We never know what's going to happen in reality. So you have to connect dots and understand and make the decision about your own self. How would you protect yourself financially from a severe depression or recession if it hits? And if you are highly indebted, then how you are going to sustain those interest payments, those debt servicing payments, when the interest rate is too high and you don't have enough income to support that. So let me know what you think. Put your comments down below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in my next week. Take care.